I am such a dingbat. I am so sorry, everyone. I don't know why I put 2 p.m. when it was 3 p.m. Senior moment. Senior moment. That's all I can say. I think we've got sound and vision. Let me know. I thought I'd come on a couple of minutes early because of my idiocy of putting the wrong time, guys. I really am sorry. I really, really am. I see so many comments there, Draka and Alexis, and I'm so sorry. I really am sorry that you guys have had to go. I just feel like such a dickhead. I really do. I really do. In fact, make that symbol at me. Make that symbol at me today. Yeah. I'm a right idiot. I don't know why I put 2 p.m. because I knew it was 3 p.m. but I put 2 p.m. So I do apologize. So in the chat, well, we had, I don't know if everybody's still there, but we've got Chris C. Thank you. I'm always hard on myself, Chris C, because I expect perfection from myself. And yeah, it's one of my big failings in life to expect perfection when I know that I'm only human. And you know, as humans, we make mistakes. Hi, Elle, lovely to see you. Yes, you did get the unicorn today. Did you like my picture that I did? I actually got two, but I preferred that one to the other one that ChatGPT gave me. So I decided to use that one. Hi, David. Lovely to see you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just, what can I say? What can I say? It's just been a strange day today. Pete, hello, Pete. Thank you for joining. Lovely to see you. We were a little bit worried about you yesterday, Pete. So I hope you're okay. I think it was Mel and Indie Duck Mel, that was saying, you know, is Pete okay? Because you weren't on the stream last night. But yeah, you took a screenshot, Elle. That's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Elle, if you go over onto my Witchy Goth page on Facebook, I've tried to start posting things out on there. So yeah, if you go on there, you should be able to see posts and that I put up. I'm trying to get more back into it. I used to do it all the time, but there's always shit going on, isn't there? Hi, Viper Scott, lovely to see you. Hi, Draka. I'm so glad you're back, guys. I really am. You're sorting out car insurance. I hope you managed to sort that out. Bloody pain in the arse, isn't it, to do car insurance? Who else have we got or had? I know Billy was here. I did see comments from Billy. So thank you to Billy. Yeah, he put their caps lock. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I put it in caps lock so that you see it because, yeah. Just having one of those senior moments today. So I do apologize to everybody who was waiting for me. And I was upstairs putting on my makeup, you see, and I was talking on the phone to my mum because she will ring while I'm live streaming. She always does. It's like she knows. She knows that I'm live streaming. So I thought, right, I'll ring her before and then she won't panic. So yes, and then I could hear my phone going blip, 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 blip. And of course, it was all the messages coming through. And I'm like, oh my God. So I got down here and then I see loads of messages. I'm like, oh, that's good. And then I'm like, oh no, that's not good. Hi, Dave McGuinness. Thank you for joining. Lovely to have you here. I have a sinking feeling that my washing machine is on its way out. Oh no. Oh, no, you have an AO finance account. That's good. Oh, bloody hell. What's wrong with it, Chris C? Hi, Alex. Lovely to see you. Alexis, sorry. Lovely to see you. Oh, it's great to have the gang here today. So if you have a look at the top, I have put a poll up. The first thing that... Hi, Sir Larry. Lovely to see you. Lovely to have you here. I have a large Scottish contingent on my channel, which is very strange as I'm not Scottish, but I would like to be. My sister's husband is Scottish. He's Robertson. And when they got married, he was born in London, but his dad, Alex, was Scottish. And you could hardly understand him, bless him. He was a lovely man, and he's no longer with us. So when they got married, he was wearing the Robertson tartan kilt, and my sister was wearing green to match that. She had a white dress. It was a very Snow White kind of dress. It was really lovely. She had like a green bodice around the centre. It was lovely white off the shoulder, really lovely dress. It sounds like the bushes are going. It's covered by general and domestic, but they don't cover that particular part as it's general wear and tear. It's only 5 years old. Bloody hell. You know, I remember when things were made to last. When I lived in South Africa, I had a washing machine that was a Defy. And I must have had it for about 10, 15 years, and it was still going, still going. Hi, Stephen. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Oh, it's brilliant that everybody's here. I must replace my washing machine, 14 years old. Wow. You know, I'd keep it, Pete, until it actually breaks down. I would keep it until it breaks down. This one, the previous one I had was also a Defy. I bought the same model that I was used to because, you know, obviously you think, oh, well, it was good make. And the actual rubber ring went, so had to replace the rubber ring. And I was annoyed because I used to tell my ex every time, when you take the washing out, make sure you wipe that ring at the bottom because it rots. I can guess I'm sure you can guess that, yeah, what happened there. Oh, thank you, Elle, for putting that up for us. And also Chrissy or Elle or whoever is modding for us. If you could pop up the one for David as well, David McGuinness. And oh yeah, please pop up Daily Blase's link as well for later on this afternoon. Really, really, really appreciate that as well, because bless him, he's so lovely. He's such a lovely, lovely man. And I know he doesn't live too far from where I live. So one day I might pop somewhere and go meet him. I know he drinks pints, but I don't really drink alcohol anymore, but I'll have a coffee. It was unalived. Okay. That's, yeah. Used to rent things. Hi, Mithril, lovely to see you. The motor is located at the bottom of the machine, not the top. I would have to strip the machine down. Oh yeah. Keep that bit, the spinny bit, I can't think of the bloody name now. It's just gone. And make a fire pit out of it. They make excellent fire pits. Let's have a look. We had real butter, no bread, but real butter. And that when things got cold, we'd feed Grandpa peppermints and warm our hands on his breath. Love that. What's that? Alistair's put there. Witchy Goth, you're Scottish then. It doesn't matter. You're not Scottish. When you live in Scotland, my friend, you're Scottish. I'm not living in Scotland, but I would like to. I really would. Sorry, I've got this gap here in my hair and it's doing my head in. Because I washed my hair today. I've not straightened it. I've let it curl, but the fringe I have to straighten because otherwise it does this whole thing. Yeah, I do love Scotland. In fact, I started writing a book a number of years ago, set in the 17th century Scotland. Maybe I'll finish it. We'll see. I must admit, I do buy real butter. I do not buy fake butter. I can't stand it because I like, on my toast, I like having one slice with butter and one slice with butter and jam or butter and lemon curd. And I do like the butter to be thick and sort of dripping off of the bread. Yeah. Drum, thank you, Viper. Thank you, Viper Scott, the drum. Thank you. 20 years old, Viper. Just got it replaced last year. Wow. The machine I got was from the YMCA when I first moved into my flat. It cost 200 quid and is brand new. I have never heard of. Mine was an Indesit. Scotland adopts without bias. even when I've been visited, you know, and I've been up there quite a few times, and when I've visited there, everybody is so friendly, so friendly, and just lovely, warm people. And yeah, so one day I might move up there. In fact, if Mithril says, I lived in Edinburgh a few years ago for a short time, loved it, but would go somewhere more remote in future. Yes, that's it. I would definitely go somewhere remote, up in the Highlands, somewhere away from people, in a little bothy. I'd love that. I think that would be awesome. Have a few sheep, a couple of ducks, some chickens, a cow, you know, maybe a couple of pigs, grow my own vegetables and that. I'd love that. I would absolutely love that. Hi, Daily Blase. Thank you for joining. Did somebody put up a link for Darren's channel for later on this afternoon? Hi, Mad Monk. Thank you for joining. Lovely to see you. If I could just give a little bit of housekeeping, first of all, if you would like to join the chat, you are more than welcome to. You will have to subscribe to the channel and then wait a minute, and then you'll be able to chat in the comments. However, I have some amazing mods with me today, and they will boot anybody who is a troll. So if you do have something to say that is perhaps not left-leaning, perhaps it's more right-leaning, feel free to, but in a polite way. Let's have a discussion. Let's not shout at each other. I don't think anything can be achieved through shouting. And I would love to have those discussions with people to find out why we have these thoughts. The Frolicker in Chief, yes. Right, so if I had this £40,000 that Shabana Mahmood has been talking about giving to the migrants, the asylum seekers, I'd take it. And if Scotland was independent, I'd move to Scotland. Simples. I mean, spot on civil discord in chat. Oh, exactly. You know, I think that we can all have decent conversations instead of being shouty. You know, it doesn't help to be shouty. It really doesn't. So yeah, I'm sure some of you will have heard this story. So Shabana Mahmood this is in the Business Standard. I found this in the Business Standard rather than the Fail or the Mirror or whatever. So rather tried to pick a better newspaper, although, you know, they're all rags, aren't they? So this was actually written by somebody in New Delhi, and I like to get their opinions on things because I think that they perhaps have this external view that we don't here in the UK. So UK Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood on Thursday unveiled a pilot scheme offering some failed asylum seekers go away pop-up. Sorry, guys. Some failed asylum seekers, 10,000 to up to 40,000. So it's capped at 40,000 for families if they agree to leave British taxpayer-funded accommodation and depart the country. Give me 40,000. I'll go to South Africa. The amount of money that is worth in South Africa. In fact, let me see. Rand to pound exchange rate. Okay, so it's, wow. One South African rand is 0.04 of a pound. So it's 4p for 1 rand. That's a lot of South African rands. Although the South African rand is not as good as it used to be, but still I'd be able to have a comfortable time over there. But Labour have put this in place. This is even worse than the Rwanda scheme. It's even worse than the Rwanda scheme. You know what's going to happen, don't you? They're going to go, take that 40,000 and go, and then come back again for another 40,000. Announcing the proposal in a policy speech at the Institute for Public Policy Research in London, Mahmood said families who refuse the payment could face enforced deportation. Okay, now I agree that asylum seekers need to be welcomed and need to be given asylum when they are, approved asylum seekers, when they have been checked and vetted. But then if they have been checked and they are not, they're criminal, or they do not meet the standards, then they should be deported. I really believe that. Forced deportation should already be a thing, shouldn't it? I mean, am I wrong? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I'd really love to know what you think, because I know that we can't have this endless pit of money to give to asylum seekers. And now there's some figures here which I'm going to read in a minute, but it just seems to me that giving a person up to £40,000 to go back to Syria or to, Nigeria or wherever they have come from defeats the object, defeats the purpose. And there's no wonder that people are up in arms about this. And I certainly am. And this is one time that I actually agree with Nick Ferrari. I don't agree with Nick Ferrari at all. I can't stand the man. But he had a call about this. He had a show about this. And I just think, what the fuck? I have zero money. At the end of this month, I will have £130. Well, actually, I won't have that because that will go on shopping. But that's it. That's it. I just think, and they're going to give that money to asylum seekers, and they're going to tax pension. Now, I think that there should be a cut-off on the pension. So if you've got a certain amount, so, smaller amounts don't get taxed, but the larger amounts do. It's a very hotly debated thing, because, if you have paid into a pension your whole life and you've been saving that pension, I mean, we're going to be there one day, but I know that the vast majority of us can't afford pension. I can't. I don't have a pension at all. I shall be on the state, probably doing what I do now. So yeah, it's just bloody ridiculous. That 40,000 should be going to the people who are living on the streets, the people who are in tents, and our own people who are homeless, who are staying in hotels. And there are a number of British people staying in hotels. My ex's sister, she stayed in a hotel for a while until she found a house that, a council house. This is just wrong on so many levels. The Home Office said the scheme draws on a similar approach used in Denmark and will initially target about 150 families. Officials estimate the move could save around 20 million in public spending. Okay, so it's going to save around 20 million. What's 150? Let me get my calculator. 150 times 40,000. 6 million. 6 million. This government will now pilot a similar model for families who are failed asylum seekers, a small number of whom will now be offered an increased incentive payment of 10,000 per person and up to a maximum of 40,000 per family, said Mahmood. To put that in an important context, today, a family of 3 in asylum hotel accommodation costs up to 158,000 per year. Excuse me. Should these incentives prove effective, they will represent a saving to the taxpayer. Where a voluntary removal is refused, we will escalate to an enforced removal for those who can be returned to their safe home country. New conditions on accommodation and support. Mahmood said asylum seekers who break the law or work illegally could lose access to taxpayer-funded housing and financial support. Okay. this is a very controversial subject as well, because if an asylum seeker breaks the law, should they be deported? Should they go to prison? Now, the working illegally, surely we should allow asylum seekers to work. That would stop that illegal working. The generosity of the British people will become conditional on those seeking asylum following the law, living by our rules and not working illegally. Taxpayer-funded accommodation will be reserved for those who have no right to work and will otherwise be destitute. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Chris C, thank you. You've put a really good point up there. 158,000 a year for a single asylum seeker to be housed in a hotel. It costs around 68,000 a year to house a prisoner in prison. I was having a conversation about prison with my mum on the phone. She's reading a book. She can't tell me the name because she can't see. So I say she's reading, she's listening to it. And it's set in London, and it's set in the Victorian era, and it's about a prisoner who escapes, and he was being fed just a piece of bread and water. That was it, and he was chained. There are certain people that I think that should happen to. PDFs, for one. Definitely PDFs, for one. I think that they should perhaps be, treated a little less humanely. So on the vote at the moment, we've got, do you think it's fair that the asylum seekers should receive that money? We have got 7% saying yes, 40% saying no, 13% saying not share, and 40% saying need more information. Yeah. That's why I went and looked at it, because I thought, you hear the headline, it's like, what? Where do we draw the line? Where do we put that line in place? Those immigrants who commit a criminal offence and are sentenced to 12 months or more are liable to be considered for deportation. I think they should. I really think they should be. Obviously it depends on the crime. But if they are an unaliver or a paedophile or, something of a serious nature, then I do think that they should be, removed. Castration. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, Pete. I see we've got some more people who've joined, so let me just say hello. Hi, Rosemary. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining. Increased incentive payment, aka a bribe. Absolutely, Mithril. Hi, blah, blah. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I don't do a live stream on a Thursday. I was out at Clumber Lake yesterday running 7 kilometres. Yeah, it was tough going yesterday, really tough going. I hadn't run that far and hills for a while. And my bursa over my left hip is now sore. It's not the hip joint, it's the actual muscle on the outside of the hip that's sore. So had a rest from running today. 6 million, Chris C. Thank you. I thought I was reading that wrong. So yeah, I did number zeros. So 6 million. 6 million. So that's more than what we would be paying. It makes no sense. By the way, that is considered for deportation. It is not an automatic deportation, which personally it should be. As soon as their sentence is completed, they should be either removed from the country or detained until they can be removed from the country. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Oh, bless her. Please send her my love, Elle. Please send her my love. Prisons should rehab people, not just incarcerate them. I agree. I do agree. But I also do think that there are some people that can't be rehabbed. Psychopaths. will never change. PDFs, you know, give them chemical castration. You know, I just think that there's some crimes to me, and these may not be the same crimes to you, but to me, those, I just can't stand people who hurt little kids. It just, yeah. Prison system is broken, and it was broken by the Tories. Absolutely, absolutely it was. Yeah, some can't be rehabbed. And the thing is as well, in prison, and Chris, you know, Chris is our expert on this topic, so I really do appreciate your comments on this. But in prison, you can access drugs, you can access various alcohol. I think it's home brewed, isn't it? So it can be quite strong. And, you know, gangs form. So you'll have different factions together. And now I may be wrong about British prisons, but I know that that happens in America. And so when a perpetrator is released, then they go on to perhaps commit more crime. So I don't know, Chrissy, let me know if I'm right or wrong there. But, you know, a lot of people who go to prison, perhaps for a white collar crime, may end up doing something else. Look at, I know this was a story that Stephen King wrote, but no, it wasn't Green Mile, was it? It was Shawshank Redemption, how he was doing all their letters for them because he had that knowledge to do letters and things. You know, a person will start doing that for favors so they aren't targeted, you know. It's called Hoach, made from bread, fruit and sugar and heated on the heating pipes. Yep. Yeah, no chemicals, two halves. Yeah, I could agree with that. That's fine, but what if you are wrong? Corporal punishment is never right because you only have to get it wrong once. That is true, blah, blah. That is very, very true. I'm not sure what the figures are, but I do think that there are very few cases that are, you know, wrong in this day and age. I do think that, you know, the legal system is a lot better than it used to be. I'm not saying it's perfect because it's not, but I do think it's a lot better than it used to be. No way we can improve our prison system while our media and politics is like this. They all still subscribe to the Victorian view of prisoners simply for punishment. Yeah. What's this? What got delivered back the next day? Rosemary. Oh, new exhaust system. Oh, God. 850 quid. Oh, my God. That is awful. Chrissy, gang culture isn't really a thing in UK prisons, and it is easier to get to drugs in prison, and the majority of drugs are brought in by prison officers and prison staff. Yeah. Yeah, because payoffs, I'm sure, happen. 2020, 24 hours to go, want to be sedated, just want to be sedated. Just get me to the airport, put me on a plane, hurry, hurry, hurry before I go insane. Yeah, my brother had a terrible time with rehabilitation. Social worker involved was a nightmare, ended up a pure fiasco, never been in trouble since, but they had to change the commutation. Yeah. I think that's, I had one of my CPNs, loved my main CPN. And then there was one time where I had to have another one because she was on holiday. I rang them the next day and said, please don't send her again. Victorians tried to implement proper prison reform and rehabilitation, but you always have those in power who believe in cruelty. Absolutely. And one of my exes worked at Rampton. So yeah, he was a not a prison warden as such, but he would go and do the the when prisoners kicked off, he would go and do that, because obviously it was the mental ward that he worked in. And I say that, I mean, I'm mental. So yeah, he worked at Rampton, and I don't know how. I couldn't do that. But I think he enjoyed it. That's the kind of person that he was. So yeah, I think this whole thing of giving people, up to £40,000 to send them abroad is wrong. It is wrong, because it is our money. No matter that I am, on benefits, I still pay tax. I pay tax on everything I buy. I pay car tax. I pay for my TV license because I don't want to get done. So I pay what I can. And I also donate to charity. I raise funds for charity, whether it's cancer research, whether it's cats protection, or whether it's at refuge. I've also raised funds for Mind, and for there's a couple of others as well. The Roy Castle Lung Foundation, and another one, I'm trying to think, it's a green t-shirt and I can't remember who it was for. But yeah, I raise money for charities. So I think that, when it comes to this ridiculous thing that they're putting in place, it's causing chaos in the media. I mean, it's just one of those things that the media is picking up and saying, well, blah, 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 blah. We need a society that makes people view crime as a career. Not sure if you mean that. Yeah. The other thing with offending behaviour courses is they are not peer reviewed by external psychologists. Case in point was the very old sex offenders treatment programs that were proven to increase risk. Yeah, Chris C., I agree there. One of the parts of my psychology course was to do with prisons and prison reform and so on. I didn't get that far, but hopefully in October I'll start studying again. So that was also something that was part of the course. HMPPS just tweaked the old sex offender programs, removed some references and renamed the Horizon and Chasm. Privatisation of prisons also screwed up the prison service big time. Prison staff paid as cheap as possible so that why drugs getting into them, just my opinion. Yeah. I missed the to ask. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Yeah, that makes more sense now. We need, as a society, to ask what makes people view crime as a career. The vast majority, I would imagine, is down to being poor, having no money, coming from a poor family, looking at ways to make money, to feed yourself. Then I would say it's probably education. And I do think that a lot of poor people do have a poor education. Children, some parents are not good parents, and I'm not saying all, but oftentimes, and this is not the case for everybody, poor parents tend to be users themselves and not look after their children correctly. And then children have a choice. They can either say, stuff you, I'm going to do this and be the best that I can be, or they can say, no, well, I'm just going to do the same as my parents. And it is learned behavior. We have this learned behavior. So education plays an important part. But first and foremost, people having enough money to live, so a universal basic income. That will alleviate, excuse me, it's my cup of tea, a lot of suffering and a lot of crime. Because if people have enough money to survive on, with a home, with heating, with food, with water and clothing, why would they need to commit crime? mean, there will always be those people that want something more, you know, want a flash car or want a flashy jewelry or whatever. But if people have the basics, I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of people will be happy. I know I'd be happy, definitely. Let's scroll down the chat. Sorry, I've missed some chats here. Till people start to talk to each other, everyone just like a brother, till the morals and fear that divides us, all is no longer the excuse for the system's rule. Yeah. So Larry, well, till the morals and fear that divides us. Oh, you've put it again. Okay. Poverty and crime come hand in hand. They do, Stephen. They do, definitely. And it is sad. It is very sad. I mean, you know, when I was growing up, we lived in a very small house, and my dad was a shift worker, and he was blue collar, and we didn't have much at all. But I know that my parents did the best that they could for us. I do know that. And when we went to South Africa, it was very, very different, because my dad was in a much higher position, earning a better salary. So, and he was white. I know. When I look back now, I think it shouldn't have been that way. And obviously we got it to the point where it wasn't that way anymore, where it was one man, one vote. But back then, that's what it was like. And I, as a child, didn't understand this, you know. So it's only now, or, you know, when I sort of left school and saw what was happening for myself, I was like, this isn't right. This isn't right. Chris, I was held at HMP Oakwood, which is run by G4S. I helped a few custody officers write their CVs so they could apply for jobs stacking shelves at Tesco because Tesco paid more. Yeah. My sister, my niece, my nephew work at Tesco. My sister started working there a couple of years ago. She's actually also a medical typist. She does both. She does typing from home and she does the Tesco job. She actually really enjoys it, she said, because she's very talkative, my sister, really, more than me, way more than me. And so my niece was working at the RSPCA, but she left because of problems with some staff members. And she started another job, which was an office job, but she didn't like it because she was sat all the time. She didn't like that. And my nephew, he's studying at college at the moment. He's studying economics. And so he does that on weekends and when he's free, because he likes expensive things. He likes designer clothes and stuff. So, yeah. Before 2011, prison education offered level 3 qualifications, trade qualifications, and open university courses. Then the Tories scrapped the funding, and you are lucky if you can get a level 2 qualification. Also, the maximum you can earn in a public prison is £20 a week, and that is normally if you are a wing cleaner, kitchen staff, laundry. Most are paid £10 a week. Bloody hell. Right. Okay. So, yeah, this whole system needs to change. Somehow we've gone onto the prison system, but now all I can hear in my head is System of a Down. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go and listen to System of a Down in a bit. Cost of tax evasion by the mega rich. Oh, don't get me started on that, Rosemary's. Absolutely. Let me play you this bit from Ferrari. It's only a short, so it's not very long. And then we'll get on to some tax evaders. Right, so bear with me.
Hey,
advert. So I knew it was going to happen. So Funky Pigeon, don't forget it's Mother's Day on the 15th. Get your mum a Prezi.
Give a funky pigeon.com.
Oh my God, sorry,
I'm
there's
Shauna,
two.
and I love
Sorry.
a shortcut.
I do want raging.
Hang on, sorry, I've got to take this back.
I'm bloody furious.
My bloody boiling here listening to this. It's ludicrous government.
Absolutely disgusting. Give me that money. Let me get out of here into a private rental because that'll pay 6 months' rent. Well, that's £10,000 for me.
You were born and bred here, you see, Maxine.
Exactly.
That's why the cash doesn't apply to you. Now, you may be aware.
So something just fell off my desk. I don't know why. I don't know how, because nothing was touching it, but it's nothing important. It's just some folders and files. That wasn't the one that I wanted to play. It jumped for some reason. But yeah, a lot of people ringing in to Ferrari's show saying that why should these get up to 40,000? This one woman was crying. She was saying, you know, she's managed to create a nest egg of £20,000 for her retirement, and they're giving these people up to 40,000. It is shocking. It is absolutely shocking what this government is doing, pandering to the far right. That is what this is. It's pandering to the far right to stop the boats, so to speak. And it's not right. It's unfair. It's very unfair. 40,000 would help me find a new home. Sarah Davis, hi, lovely. Thanks for joining. Absolutely. 40,000. I'd be so happy with 40,000. I really, really would. It would pay off my debts, and I'd move to Scotland, and I'd get a little place and wake up, disagree, restorative justice. Not sure what, if you're referring to something I've said or something in the chat. So yeah. Oh, don't worry, Chrissy. It's good that you talk about it because not a lot of us know what happens. So yeah, you know, these things need to be discussed. And if the other thing as well is if an asylum seeker commits a crime, putting them into the prison is costing the taxpayer. You know, we pay for those prisons and they don't get enough. I know this. They, you know, things are so underfunded, and it's all down to the Tories. We know this. And, you know, if Froggage and Deform get in, it'll be exactly the same, if not worse. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they put up a firing squad, to be honest. My brother was fortunate to have family behind him, and he's a fabulous father and family man. That's brilliant. Educating us. Yeah, tax evasion by the mega rich. That's something that needs to be sorted. Now, something on the mega rich, which is absolutely hilarious. Sorry, I'm pulling it up on my phone so that my PCs don't crash and I don't lose the thing and it doesn't start buffering again. So bear with me, guys, while I pull this up on my phone because it is so funny. So funny. Oh, thank you, Mad Monk. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. You have made my day. Thank you. 12 at 12 from the Mirror. Hang on. Where is it? No, it's not on this, is it? No, because I typed it in separately. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me a second. Hang on. So some of you may know that, or not, that Andrew Tate, one of my favourite people to talk about, is in a detention centre. I think it's near Oman, after a pointless attempt to reach Dubai. I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. He's in a detention centre. So he's allegedly being held in a detention centre as he tries to get to Dubai, apparently to prove some kind of point. This article is written from Indy 100 by Ellie Abraham. Apropos of nothing, controversial manosphere influencer Tate has seemingly made it his mission to enter Dubai in the UAE, which is currently experiencing strikes amid the US-Israel war with Iran, as many people are attempting to escape the Middle East, where many countries in the region have experienced airstrikes. Tate is instead trying to go the other way and has now found himself detained. In one video he posted footage from a random bus in Saudi. Then later, things took a turn as a subsequent post on X, Twitter, revealed that his mission to Dubai had been halted, HAULTED. This is a man who doesn't read books because he's too clever for reading books, and that he was unable to leave this detention center because he failed to get off a bus during a security check. It is unclear in which country the alleged detention center is located. I'm in some terrorist detention center for some terrorist check, Tate said. He continued, welcome to the Middle East. I guess tensions are high for some reason. I'm like, do you know who I am? Do we care who you are? I can't play this because it's on X and I don't have X anymore. I closed my account when fuckface took over, but not a lot of people appeared to have sympathy. You're going there to seek attention, not help, someone argued. Most definitely. Another mocked, I love migration detention centres now. Someone else wrote, what an embarrassment, followed by loads and loads of laughy faces and clown faces. Attention-seeking behaviours. So yeah, he's been detained. Maybe they'll send him back here to the UK now so that he can face the charges that he is alleged to have committed. That is 4 specific grapes. And I think there are another 4 that have been added to it. I need to update and do a new video on Tate because there's so much that's happened and it's just time. It is actually a really good job that I deferred my studies for this year because I have, just sort of, yeah. Chrissy says, by the way, I was a model prisoner, never got into trouble in prison. In fact, I felt safer in prison as I had structured lifestyle, but those days are long behind me, being out of trouble for 5 years. Well done, Chris. Well done. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Oh dear, how sad. Never mind. I know, isn't it sad? Oh, the tears for Andrew Tate. I wonder what he's experiencing in prison, because he's not a very good boxer. He lost to Chase Damore, who is not a very good boxer either. And Chase Damore was wearing pink gloves and pink shorts, which I thought was brilliant. And he just knocked Tate, pretty much knocked him out. And Tate, his excuse was he was tired and he didn't know why. He said in round 3, he just felt so tired. So Larry the Cat, I paid my debt to society, but I'm not the citizen they want me to escape, to be escaped. There's no escape. There's no escape. Don't go changing. Yeah. Home Office may forcibly remove child asylum seekers from UK in handcuffs. Oh my God. The Labour Party are turning into the fucking Tories. And this is because reform is pushing the, it's just pushing everything far right. The Overton window is just going further and further right. And Froggage is loving every minute of it. Every single minute of it. This is, you may have seen this, you may not have seen it. There's something, you've got pink gloves too. I'm actually decided now the colours that I'm going to do my house in is pink. Mahmood, she is as evil as Patel and Braverman. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know how 3 women of colour can be like that. I don't understand it. Anne Widdecombe would feel at home in today's Labour Party. She would. She would. I think Political Custard and Bonafide have put up a few videos with, oh, what's her face? She's on one of the programs in the morning. Carol somebody, can't remember her surname. And hi, Gallifrey and Wren, thank you for joining. Lovely to see you. And she sounds like Bobcat. Does anybody remember Bobcat? I can't stand the voice. I just want to cringe. Just not Carol Vorderman. Some other woman. Just Malone. That's it. Thank you. Rent-Gob. Thank you, Elle. Yes. Oh my God. She is horrendous. And she talks over everybody. And she shouts. Her and Tate. Because Tate shouts and spits at the same time. And I think it's because of his turkey teeth. The women of colour who are all from immigrant families talk about pulling the ladder up after you. Exactly, Chris C. Exactly. I just, it infuriates me so much. To deport children in handcuffs. Children should be the first to be cared for and looked after. Yeah, Carol Malone. Thank you, everybody, for giving me her surname. Couldn't remember her surname. Yeah, so I've decided, Elle, that I'm going to do my house in pink. I do like pink. I used to have pink hair. I will put up some photos at some stage of me with pink hair. Draka, you might remember me having pink hair. I'm not sure, though, and Alexis. But yeah, I've decided pink. I'm going for pink. So earlier this week, Deform have had loads of press conferences. And in one press conference, there was a woman who stood up who heckled Froggage. You can't hear what she's actually saying, unfortunately. I've listened to a few different things and I can't hear what she's saying. But I'm going to play you this now so you can, unfortunately, hear Froggage. At least you don't have to look at him.
Oh, sorry, darling. You having a rough morning? Did you get out the wrong side of the bed?
So it's a woman who's being taken out by security out of the room, not taken out. And she's still shouting.
That's all right. You always get the odd screamer at these events. It's all right. You can go back to work. Go back to work.
Yeah, he tells her to go back to work, but then just after that, he actually says, oh, that's right, you don't work. Oh, I haven't seen that, Elle. Thank you for posting that. Let me just open that here. I'm going to have it because otherwise you will hear. I actually tried to listen to his show earlier while I was getting ready, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. He's just so full of himself. He is such a narcissist. Yeah, condescending. Hi, Blake W. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining. Hi, Mel. I'm so glad you're here. No, rubbish. Rubbish. Stop it. Stop it. We are all beautiful people. Thinking of going for the Bobby Sands look. I'm not sure who Bobby Sands is. Sorry, I'm so uneducated in some things. Still moving forward, Chris. You had the displeasure of meeting Anne Widdecombe. Oh my God. You worked for Virgin Trains. I was hoping her ticket wasn't valid for the journey she was on, but sadly no. Did you accidentally spill a cup of tea on her? I don't know. That's something that I would have done and got fired for it. So, yeah, Farage just once again proving his patronising behaviour to a woman, because if it had been a man, he wouldn't have said, sorry, darling, would he? He would have said something else. I don't know what, but it wouldn't have been darling. It would have been something else. And I'm so sick of him, sorry guys, of him saying things like that to women. It really does make me sick. Let me scroll down the chat. Let's have a look. Sorry, I do this scroll thing and then it just jumps up. I'm going to have to open it on my other thing, L. So I don't know how I'm going to get that link across to the other computer because I don't have that technology, and that computer is very, very, and I'm not typing the whole thing up. I'm just worried that if I play it on the laptop, you may get a thingy. I'll try it in a minute. Did you see Republican senator who broke a serving US Marine's wrist? No, I didn't see that. Oh my God, that's another what the fuck moment. People need parenting classes, absolutely. Half the Tories and the current Labour cabinet, yeah. I voted Labour. I did vote tactically, but I knew that in my area I would have to vote Labour. That was the tactical vote anyway, which I was quite glad about because my MP is Natalie Fleet, who I do love. However, she never gets back to me. And actually, I was phoned by the Green Party the other day wanting to know if I would stand as a councillor in this area. Not a chance will I stand. I couldn't. I'd end up shouting at the Reform people. I couldn't do it. Definitely not. No. And I think that once they found out all the trolling I do online, that they'd be like, no, you can't get into politics. No, not as a councillor or anything like that. No. The man is vile pond life. He absolutely is pond life. Sorry, just scrolling through. I bet she wobbled like jelly on that train. Oh yeah, Nigel Mirage. I saw that as well. They're calling him Mirage now. Sadly, no, Witcher. I was ticket inspector, not the person with the refreshments. I would have changed outfits with the refreshment person. That's right. I'm taking the trolley. Let's see if I've missed anybody here. Sorry. I had a pal who worked on the refreshments trolley. He was lovely. Tactical voting is still worth a vote. Wasting a vote is a slap in the face of all who died to give us the vote. Yeah, heed my words, use it or lose it. Absolutely agree with you, Stephen. Absolutely agree with you. I, as you know, I'm a feminist, and, you know, the suffragettes and the suffragists both fought for women to gain the vote. And I always encourage every woman to vote because of that. I will take people up to the polling booth as well if they need a lift. I will quite happily take them up to the polling booth on the polling day. But yeah, like you say, voting tactically to make sure that the far right, I mean, this time we're going to be voting tactically to keep Farage out, aren't we? But I'm really hoping that, God, what's his name's Rupert Lowe's party? What we got? We've got Reform, Refund. I know it's not Refund. I can't remember, isn't it? Restore and Reignite. The Lawrence Fox one, which I did actually put the name into the chat last night on Regan's show. Refurbish, retile, redraw, redress. I have a great video scheduled for 6 p.m. showing Greens councillor Martel Abrams trolling Farage over the Gorton and Denton by-election. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. I shall definitely be watching that. I've actually got something from a Reform councillor here from Doncaster, which I'm going to play rehash, reground. Refund, recycle, respawn. I like that one. Retile, yeah. I don't vote. Huge trigger and zero tolerance, zero apologies. Absolutely, absolutely. If there was nobody that I wanted to win, I would go and draw a cock and balls on my vote. You know, just to say that I've been there. In fact, when I was in South Africa, no, I didn't draw a cock and balls. But this was the election. I just turned 18, and it was the election before the referendum to change the voting system to one man, one vote, and, you know, to equalise the country. And went into the voting booth, and I just scribbled all over my vote because I didn't want to vote for the KPA, which was a Conservative Party, the National Party, and there was another party as well. I can't remember which one it was, but they were all right-wing. All of them were right-wing. Conform, yes, that's good. Rejects, re-up. A jealous thug who unalived his ex-girlfriend's sister and her 3 children by setting their house on fire has been handed a whole life order at Doncaster Crown Court. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Can you pop that link in for me, Chris C, please? Because then I can go and check out the police report on that. It'll probably be with South Yorkshire Police, won't it? So yeah, wondering if it's somebody I know, because I'm originally from Donny. Reformatory Party. Please, sir, can I have some more? What is it in the nature of the man that makes us hate and cheat and steal and unalive? And why do people get off on bigotry, intolerance and racial intolerance? That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Gallifrey went, Donny, always making us proud. I know. I know. Oh, it is the girl that I recognise. Yes. I did. Yes, Bryony. Yes, I did actually read about that. I think it was sometime last year I read about it. And it is actually on my list of things to talk about. So that's a good one to do on the weekend. I'll record that on the weekend. Yeah, just call reform suppositories. Absolutely. I love that. Suppositories. Mahmood corrupted as fuck by power. Absolutely. Got a new job today. I'll do okay. I've a lot to bring to the table. Jeremy Vine show, absolutely, absolutely. Can't stand the man either. So why do people hate? I think, and you can all have your own 2 penneth worth, I do think that a lot of it is to do with masculine energy, testosterone, and learned behavior. Our behavior, we learn our behavior from our parents between the age of 0 to 8. That is when we learn our behavior from our parents and from teachers. I do think that and this, guys, is very controversial, and you may not like what I'm going to say, but this is how I see things from what I'm, you know, the feminist side of things that I'm looking at the moment, that women are seen as objects. And yes, women can be nasty, and I'm not denying that for a second. I will never deny that, but women are seen as objects to be owned by men. There are men today who are still saying that women should be chained up in the kitchen, that women should do what they're told by their partners, that they should, you know, if a man asks them out on a date, they should go out on that date regardless if they like that man or not. There are men saying that. And when you look at the Bible, it does state that in the Bible. Look at the faith of Islam and the way the Islamists treat their women. Obviously, not all the Islamists treat their women like that. I'm talking about the fundamentals, the ones who are really, really, you know, deeply believe in their belief, and, you know, women wearing burqas and so on, women not allowed outside on their own, FGM, that's female genital mutilation. It is women are treated like shit. I was watching a documentary this morning, and I'm going to be doing a video on it, and I'm going to be playing clips through the video. It'll probably be a series because it was an hour long. And it was about she was a journalist, and she decided to join a dating thing and just see what sort of things she got back from people and from the men. And it was all dick pics, and it was all, you know, you should be sitting on my face right now, and you should be doing this, and, you know, do you want to hook up, and worse phrases. And so then she decided she was speaking to a lot of women, interviewing a lot of women, and that one against Trump, I've actually got it here to talk about, Chris C. I saw that just before I went live. I was loading up videos. So she went out as a woman on a night out. She first went to Liverpool, and then she did it in London, the same thing. And she was pretending to be drunk and having lost her friends. And she was approached by men who were trying to, you know, take advantage of her. And every woman that she interviewed in that video had been at some stage sexualized by a man, possibly 20, 30 years older than them. Schoolgirls telling these stories. And I do think that, you know, a lot of that hatred comes down to that, and men wanting to be better than other men. If you look at Andrew Tate and his red pill bollocks that he goes on about, and the whole manosphere, you look at that, and they encourage men to be aggressive. They encourage men to fight, to box. They tell men that women want to be dominated, that women want to be treated like shit, that women want to be, you know, there is footage of Tate out there holding, you know, he goes, hold her by the throat and slap it through the face. You know, Tate himself has said he's a misogynist. Tate himself, there are, which I'll also be putting into my next video, there are things that he said where he phoned an ex-girlfriend, and his words were, "I'm sorry I raped you. I'm a bad person. I shouldn't have done that." And I think that, you know, it's power play. It's power play. I'm not saying all men here, okay, because we know that there are good men out there. And oh, it wouldn't surprise me, Sir Larry the Cat. Well, she did a video the other day saying that she was preggers. This is Bonnie Blue for anybody who doesn't know. But then there was a video later on of her sort of getting it on with the doctor who said she was preggers, because she wasn't really. It was just all a thing, you know. Yeah, I'd rather not gaze upon Tate either. Yeah. Mr. Potato Head. Yeah. So what is it that makes a man gaze down from his penthouse suite watching those young children sleeping rough on the streets? Sometimes people do the strangest things. Gary Cale, Human Nature. Yeah. What is it? What is it that makes? Because they're better than them. Because they want to be better than them. I think that there's a lot I could talk about that topic, but my Misogyny Monday is when I actually talk about those sort of things, because I'll go off on a tangent. And that is, I'm not sure what time I'm going to do that on Monday. I'll be live again on Sunday at 6 p.m. doing my Stuff and Nonsense show. And I've got a lot of stuff and nonsense for you guys that I've been, you know, I sit doom scrolling, not scrolling, but actually looking through the news and finding out weird stuff and nonsense. So join me on Misogyny Monday for me talking about those sort of things. It's something that I am very passionate about, because I do believe that women need to, you know, we need to have equality. We don't have equality. Paris is burning. I think I might have seen that actually. It rings a bell. Did watch a good film last night, actually, a good horror called Shade. It's 2 hour long. It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. It's really good. Really, really good. I actually really enjoyed it. So if you get a chance and you've got nothing else to do, watch that. Highly recommend it. Well acted, good story, bit daft at the end, but you know, what horror movie isn't daft at the end? So definitely worth watching. The moment, while I had a bowl of porridge for my lunch. While I was eating that, I was watching the Ed Gein story thing on Prime, because, you know, serial killers. And I had to go look up because I thought, I know that there are still serial killers. So here in the UK, there's at least 2 serial killers doing serial killing at any time. And they mostly target the homeless and the poor people on the streets that will not be, you know, noticed as being missing. But in the States, between 25 and 50 at any one time. They don't have the CCTV. Restore, thank you, Rosemary's, thank you, that's it, restore. So yeah, between 25 and 50 in the US at any one time. I do like looking at true crime stuff. Anyway, I'm going to play a bit of a laugh now. I don't know if you've seen it, you might have seen it or not. I'm a massive Jonathan Pye fan, and this is about the war in Iran. You might get an advert, sorry.
How the conflict in Iran is developing. Right, enough about Iran. What about the Epstein files? Yeah, because look, right, Hillary Clinton, she testified that Bill Clinton, he testified that Donald Trump, he bombed Iran. Oh, I see, I'm getting it now. The winner of the FIFA Peace Prize and owner of someone else's Peace Prize, that's 2 Peace Prizes, the guy who came to office promising no more foreign wars, who has stopped countless wars. I mean, you can't actually count them because he hasn't actually done that. Mr. Peace himself, his hands have been forced by an imminent threat that's been going on for decades, including all through his first term. He's been forced to bomb the shit out of Iran, including a girls' school, which contained at least 30 of the Ayatollah's wives. And what does Keir Starmer go and do? He doesn't do exactly what Trump tells him to do. What a fucking pussy. Kenny Badnock is quite right. Taking time to consider the legality, understand the strategy, and predict the consequences is just plain dithering. Look, I know I voted for the useless block of unseasoned tofu, and I think generally Starmer has been a waste of fucking skin from start to finish. But all these twats jumping on him, how dare he upset Donald? Don't upset Donald, bow down to Donald. Suck his dick, Keir. Suck his little orange dick. Fondle his balls, Keir. Go on, fondle his balls. Good afternoon. Look, Keir Starmer is so shit at so many aspects of his job, but he is not responsible for ruining the special relationship. Right? It's Donald Trump that insults British troops, that is a more unreliable partner than Philip was to Holly, that signs deals and then throws them out the window on a whim. It's Trump's administration that undermines democratically elected governments, that wants to install far-right parties in the UK and across Europe, who praises despots and insults allies. But now it seems all of a sudden he does need Europe's help. It appears he needs Ukraine's help. Imagine that. Are we really to expect that Trump has a plan? Like he did when it came to invading Greenland, for example. There's no real policy, no thought, no clear objective, no clear strategy, and no end in sight. According to the Trump administration, the Iran war will last somewhere between 4 weeks and forever. But who cares? Donald Trump has brushed off any concerns by simply saying the American public is loving it. And don't get me wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. The Iranian leadership, they are really, really nasty, horrible bastards, religious extremists, religious fanatics, dangerously religious, and I have seen firsthand what religious extremists are capable of. I watched the Twin Towers fall. I was walking past King's Cross Station the day London was blown up. I walked across London Bridge hours before people were getting stabbed to the sound of Allah Akbar. Religious extremism is the most dangerous thing on this planet. So thank God for the US military, who were told this week that this war is all part of God's plan, and that, I quote, Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth. I shit you not. Official US policy. Please God, end this regime run by religious extremists. Well, Keir Starmer has been under a lot of pressure from the US administration, with Donald Trump remarking that
I love Jonathan Pye. I absolutely love him. And the tickle his balls, I just loved that bit. I really, when that was on. But my God, the truth is there. You know, I still am of the thought that the reason that he decided to, you know, bomb Iran was to do with oil, to do with disaster capitalism. I did talk about this the other day. I really do think that that's the main reason. And of course, power. You know, Trump wants to rule the world. Netanyahu, the same. I didn't know this. I heard it today. I don't know if he just said it actually, but the first thing that was bombed was a girls' school. Not a weapons site, not a I don't know if that's true, but that is what I, you know, just, yeah, a girls' school. Isn't it the girls that they are trying to free from the Iranian regime? Isn't it the women that they're trying to free from that? Because I do agree that the Iranian regime is evil. I do not like fundamentalists at all. Any religion that forces people to do specific things is wrong. Catholicism, forcing, you know, women not to have birth control, forcing them not to have terminations if they want them, forcing women to have loads of kids, forcing people to not be intimate until marriage. And that creates a problem in itself, because if a man isn't getting his way away, he will go and seek that somewhere. That is, I'm sorry to say that, but a lot of men think like that they are entitled. It's their entitlement to that. So, you know, I personally, when I look at Starmer and what he did and him holding back, I think that was the right thing to do, because it was illegal. Iran hadn't bombed anybody else or attacked anybody else. You know, Trumpty Dumpty and Netanyahu went in and bombed Iran. You know, I would surmise that Israel want Iran for themselves, that Trump would allow that because they've got this buddy thing going on, and it's to do with oil, it's to do with money, it's to do with power, it's not to do with the regime. Trump said that he wants to be in charge of the next person that they put in power. He wants to make sure that he has a hand in who's going to be put in power. You know, he wants to be the leader of the world. That's it. He wants to be the leader of the world. He's a narcissist and possibly a psychopath, although psychopaths don't ramble on about gold curtains. I'm going to come to some of the comments now. Just hang on, guys, while I scroll back up. I saw lots of laughy faces on what Jonathan Pye was saying. Pie with a Bang, absolutely. Second time of listening, Stephen. Yeah, that's about the third time I've listened to it. 1 orange Tic Tac with 2 orange M&Ms, but M&Ms are bigger than Tic Tacs, and I'm pretty sure they would be like little tiny orange chips, like chips of M&Ms. Just saying. Dumph has a concept of a plan. Exactly. They've said that they don't know if it's going to last this long or that long or the next long. No idea. And yesterday they sank a ship that wasn't even a warship. It wasn't even doing anything. It was just sailing. Hate is taught, as Mandela said. Absolutely, it is taught. You know, yeah. Children aren't born as hateful racists. No, they're not. They're not. It is taught. Armageddon, again, isn't this the 5th one we've lived through now? Well, Gallifrey and Wren, I do think there's an article that I've got up here as to possible fear of World War III and this being World War III. I mean, the wars are breaking out in all different continents, you know. So therefore, it is a world war. The only place that isn't at war is Australasia, you know. And of course, the North and South Poles. But, you know, there are wars in Africa. There are wars in Asia. There are wars in, you know, Europe, Ukraine war. And now the Middle East. Trump went into Venezuela. And again, that was about oil. Oil has always been the thing. And also, I saw an article the other day saying the products that you should look at stocking up on that are oil-based. So anything with plastic in. So things like nappies, incontinence pads, female products. Can't remember what else was mentioned now, but there were quite a few different things that I think cooking oil was one of them as well. And there were a few other things. Vaseline, for example, has petrochemicals in. You know, certain products have petrochemicals in. So those products you're going to find going up in price. So yeah, it was just saying about getting stock of that. And I actually bought myself one of those wind-up solar-powered transistor radios as well. I've been wanting one for a while, to be honest, because I think it'll be good when I go camping to have that, so I can listen to Classic FM. First tuning I did was onto Classic FM. I know I'm a nerd, but I do like my classical music. Yeah, I'm a goth and I'm a headbanger, but I do like classical. I got in the car yesterday and they were playing the theme tune for Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence by Ryuichi Sakamoto, which is one of my favorite pieces. I love his stuff because he did the soundtrack for Wuthering Heights, I think it's the 1992 version with Juliette Binoche and Ralph Fiennes. Absolutely love that film. That film, out of all of the Wuthering Heights, is the one that sticks the closest to the book. And I've read that book a million times. It's there on my bookcase, and I just love that book. And it's not a love story. Christian fundamentalists are the worst, especially in the USA. Absolutely, Rosemary's Pie heavily inspired my Shady Bunch set of videos. Brilliant. If they think Greenland is Iceland, then I believe they can make a mistake at girls' school for a military base. They are just that dumb. Wait for the self-defense lie. Absolutely. Since I turned 16, we've had a banking crisis, the 2012 apocalypse, 2 or 3 minute raptures, a global pandemic, and now we have Armageddon, World War III. Yeah, 2 or 3 raptures. I think there's been more than 2 or 3. Yeah. I just go outside and stand there and wait. But the comet went past us. Comet went past us. I was very upset about the comet going past us. I really thought that was, I was so hoping that it was an alien ship that had come to take me home. Australia, yeah, Australasia, there's nothing going on there, thank goodness. Dumph will have a warehouse stash of his, depends then, Witchy. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, he'll have a big pile of nappies. Makeup, yeah, I think from, you know, makeup being face creams and things like that, although there are other things you can use, but I actually use Vaseline when I run in shorts for chub rub on the inside of my thighs, because there's nothing worse than running, doing 5K and you finish and the inside of your thighs are red raw. And strangely, you can get creams that you use for that in running, but most runners recommend Vaseline. So I bought a big tub of Vaseline. Oh yes, if you could hit the like button, that would be brilliant. Thank you. Do you think aliens would take asylum seekers? I want off this demented rock. I want off this demented rock as well. I do. And I do believe in aliens. Just saying, putting that out there. I do believe that there are aliens. George Moneybo was brilliant on Question Time. Didn't watch the program, but saw his speech. Yeah, I didn't see it either. I tend to avoid Question Time. Well, last night I was watching a true crime thing, and then I watched Regan Elite and Graham from Power to the People, who was brilliant. That was brilliant, that show last night. Really, really good. I'm blowing hot and cold. Here comes a dose of some. Oh, Pete, bless you. Oh, I honestly, it must be awful. It must be awful. You were just lurking last night, Chris C. Classical music is brilliant for housework, up-tempo violin and a quartet of string, as good as any modern music. My favorite piece of classical music is The Lark Ascending by Ralph Vaughan Williams. I absolutely love that piece of music. It makes me cry every single time I hear it. I was lucky, for my birthday one year, I went to see, I can't remember which orchestra it was. It was at Sheffield City Hall. And the violinist, I cannot remember his name, he's a young violinist, and it was a whole evening of Ralph Vaughan Williams. And obviously the piece de résistance was Lark Ascending. And there was a lady sat next to me and she was crying and I was crying, and we were like just in heaven at that. I'm sure aliens would consider Earth an infested planet to avoid. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, I think that we need to, I don't like talking about it because I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it's real. I don't want to believe that this is the way that we are going. But can you imagine if Kamala Harris had have won the election, and the fact that the world would be in a much better place right now? And Keir Starmer's doing a shit job. Speaking of which, this is the orange one himself, moaning.
Well, some of the European nations have been helpful and some haven't. And I'm, very surprised. Germany's been great. He's been terrific. Others have been very good, terrific. I think that the head of NATO, Mark, is fantastic. Okay. Mark Rutte. I think he's fantastic. But some of the European, like Spain, has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all,
I think, oh no, I've moved it on too far.
Unfriendly.
I think Spain have now capitulated and going in with Trump. I'm sure I heard that somewhere today. Sorry, I hit the wrong button and it's moved this forward, so apologies.
Paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases. And that's all right. We could use their bases if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it. But we don't have to. But they were unfriendly. And so I told him, we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. that island that you read about, the lease, okay, he made it, for whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. So we are very surprised. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
So yeah, the UK is not happy with Trump, absolutely. And how dare he say that Starmer is not Winston Churchill? Winston Churchill was a racist. Yes, he was the figure behind winning the war, but ultimately he was a racist. And Trump is no Winston Churchill. He's no Obama. You know, under different leadership, this would not be happening. And I see you've put a comment there. Thank you, Rosemary's. Yeah. They did change the law, didn't they? But yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Oil price surging. Yes, I knew it would. I did say that earlier this week. I actually texted my sister and said, "Get your car filled up now, because the prices are going to go up." Thank you for Rosemary's for that. Yeah, there have been changes in later years, most definitely. But, you know, I'm thinking back to probably 30 years ago. My grandma had to change to Catholicism when she married my step granddad, because my first granddad was unalived in World War II. He was at Tripoli, and I think he was at El Alamein. But there's a statue in Tripoli or something, a plinth or something that his name is mentioned on, and so then she remarried, and she had to convert to Catholicism. So my mum was supposed to be Catholic, but she never has been. So yeah. Churchill was a fash, absolutely, Rosemary's, he was. Starmer should have put on a bowler hat and a cigar in his mouth during PMQs to mock Trump. I would have. Yeah, Elle. Yeah. But that's why we're not prime ministers, because we just, yeah, we'd get fired. The speaker would be throwing us out of the house. I think, you know, I personally think that Starmer made the right decision. This is my own personal view. And I do believe that some figure that I heard this morning, and I cannot remember, it could have been James O'Brien, said something like 8% of British people want Britain to go to war with Trump. So it's a very small amount of people who want it. And the Remembrance, Jake Thackeray, cracking tune. Jake Thackeray, I recognise that name. That's something word back in a mo. Not sure what that means, that explosion word. So yeah, I do think that he did the right thing. It is an illegal war, and it is going to be an illegal war. Will anybody ever be done for it? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I did see earlier on about, and I've lost it now. I did have it open. About Trump being, I can't remember now. Sorry, guys, it's just gone. What's the betting that those 8% are mostly from the boomer generation, not all boomers? Yeah, Chris C. Yeah, it's that mentality, isn't it? And not them, but the shaggers as well. The flag shaggers will be in that. And I can tell you now, if they got called up to go and fight, would they? Because they've all said that they wouldn't fight for this country. So yeah. And what's the betting that though? Oh, I've said that. Churchill was also responsible for 4 million Indians. Yes, absolutely. The starvations unalived in the famine. Yeah. And there was something else that I was listening to last night as well about the potato famine in Ireland and how the government used, was it on Regan Elite's show? It could have been. Your dad was also based at Tripoli Daily Blase. Well, my family was from Donny, so Yorkshire. So, you know, possibly they may have even known each other. You never know. My granddad's name was Maltby. So, yeah. He was on the tanks. He was maintenance. He did maintenance on the tanks. So maybe they did know each other. He despised the so-called savages like the Boers, etc. Yeah, he did. We're taking bets on whether Starmer will give in to that loud 8%. Well, they're sending Dragon, aren't they? And of course, Reform have been shouting about that. Farage has been on about that, saying, rah, 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 rah. But the ship wasn't ready. The ship needed stuff changing before it got sent out. You know, it set up for one thing and didn't have the right weapons on board. So it takes time. You can't sort that out overnight. And of course, it was the Tories who depleted our entire fleet, you know. Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. It is a good film. It is a good film. So I'm surprised that the members of the Trump administration haven't got pink eye. I think that, you know, they don't know when it's going to end, if it's going to end. Is it going to turn out into another Iraq war, another Afghanistan? Who knows? They, you know, at least a lot of Brits have been coming back to the UK through Oman. So that's a good thing that they've been getting Brits back. But those who are out there as tax evaders should be paying for their own flights and should be paying their tax on return. So, yeah. The statue of Queen Vic was covered in red paint as a protest over the potato famine. Another lovely person. Absolutely, Sir Larry. Yes. Yes, wasn't that done recently? I was watching, it was a podcast thing from LBC, I think it could have been LBC, it could have been something else, I don't know. Stuff comes up on my feed and I just watch it and think, well, that's interesting, because I didn't know that. But they were sending money, grain, for the producers of beer and whiskey, and not for the people to eat, because they still wanted the beer and whiskey. Yeah. That's the rich for you. My dad also was on the tanks. He's passed away now, but always talked about his time there with great pride. Wow. The Femi video. Yeah, it could have been that. Yes, it was the Femi video that I watched. Thank you, Sir Larry the Cat. Yeah. I swear to God, we almost just sit there watching bloody video after video after video, mustn't we? That is so interesting, Daily Blase. It makes me wonder. Makes me wonder if they did know each other. My granddad was did lose his life there. It was shrapnel that unalived him. My mum's still got his medals and little letters that he sent her and stuff. Because my grandma said at the time that she knew she wasn't going to see him again when she waved him off at the train station. Have I seen Destiny by David Edgar, 1978? Doesn't sound like something that I have watched, so I will add that to my list. I have a list of movies and programs that I must watch. There's an old tank training place just outside of Barnard Castle. Maybe that's where Dominic Huntings went when he was, you know, going for his eye test. So, yeah. That war, it frightens me. It does frighten me. There's an article that I did pull up here, fears about World War III. It's from the Daily Star, I know. but it came up on my feed. Fears World War III has started as top military commander warns of apocalyptic implications. It's 2 days old, but one of UK's top former military officials has warned that World War III may have already started, comparing the US attack on Iran to the events that started both World War I and World War II. And yeah, Dr. Richard Sheriff, a retired senior officer in the British Army who served as the Deputy Supreme Allied Commander for NATO, warned that while the events start global conflicts are often difficult to predict, the chaotic scenes in the Middle East right now, as well as the ongoing war in Ukraine, point to a future conflict with apocalyptic implications. Writing for the Daily Fail, Dr. Sheriff mused that I fear that future historians will look back at this week's reckless attempt at regime change from the skies as the final catalyst for a third world war, comparing the events of assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and Hitler's invasion of Poland. So, yeah, there is that. And yeah, I've sort of been saying it for a while now. That this is, you know, the start, and things are not going to get better anytime soon. Prices are going to increase. You know, whether you want to buy petrol for your car or you're buying something from the shop, they're going to increase because the cost of transportation is going to increase. The cost of plastic wrappings for goods are going to increase. Please let them change the packaging to recyclables. All of those things are going to increase. And, you know, stock up on stuff if you can. You know, if you've got the space to stock up on stuff, stock up on stuff. I know it's difficult to get extra medication and things like that some of us need. It's like insulin only lasts for like a month and then it's useless. So, you know, but we need to, I think we need to start looking out for each other and helping each other, and fuck the fash, basically, fuck the fash. The Jam, come on outside, I'll sing you a lullaby or tell a tale of how goodness prevailed. We ruled the world, we killed and robbed the fucking lot, but we don't feel bad. It was done beneath the flag of democracy, you'll believe, and I do. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, guys, please hang around for Friday Frolic at 5 p.m. with Daily Blase. Absolutely brilliant show. I'm looking forward to it. I know you said something about 6 p.m. going to be doing something special, so I'm really looking forward to that, because after I finish here, I'll be getting my tea. So yeah, that's brilliant play about a far-right movement during the time. Okay, brilliant, brilliant. I shall have a look for that. Thank you, Blake. So yeah, this is about money, it's about power, it's about oil, it's about who's got the biggest bollocks and who's got the biggest dick, basically. So often when women say, if we ruled the world, it would be a gentler place, a lot of men will say, not all men, will say, oh, you'd do exactly the same, you'd have wars and blah, blah, blah. But we wouldn't. That is projection from men expecting women to be the same as men, and we're not. We really aren't. It's like I see the male loneliness epidemic is increasing and becoming worse. And a lot of it is to do with the fact that, you know, men want to chain women up to the kitchen. And but where's the women's loneliness epidemic? That doesn't exist, because women are quite happy being on their own and not being. That's true. That's true, Ren. That is true. She's not. Yeah, she's not very gentle. I think that there are some people that are like that. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But I think there's a vast swathe of women who want what's right for the world. Women are generally nurturers, but there are women that aren't. I will say that. Just having a look at the comments. Who got the first point today? It was Elle, as usual. Elle was here as usual. See the George Carlin Middle East piece, Dick waving. I've not seen that, but I'm sure he is. 1984, The Bible for the Rich, A Warning for the Poor. Absolutely. One of my favourite books. We did it in school, actually. Always think of Smashing Pumpkins, Rat in a Cage. Yeah, we need to, I think, try and stay hopeful. We need to try and stay hopeful. So I'm going to see if I can get that video up over here, Elle, that you wanted me to play, and I'll finish with that, and I'll do the other one on Sunday night. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Hang on a second. Oh, it's the political custard that you sent me. Okay. Okay, it is political custard. I do love political custard. It is good egg. Right. Let's listen to this.
Well, I'm joined down the line by Martin Abrams, Green Party councillor. Martin, you know, it was a spectacular win. Just over 40% of the vote for Hannah Spencer. But are you concerned?
Here's Nigel Farage on GB News about to be called a whinger by Green councillor Martin Abrams on the issue of reform being such sore losers after Matt Goodwin failed to get enough votes to be elected. It's interesting to note that here sits Nigel with his own show being paid £98,000 a month by a channel run by the media baron Paul Marshall, a devout Christian belonging to the Evangelical Church of the Holy Trinity of Brompton, who believe members are selected by God to govern. Personally, I find that a little scary, especially as reform bang on about sectarianism. Anyway, let's hear Nigel being called a whinger.
The ethnic voting, family voting, people being looked over to make sure they voted the right way, and then the ballot papers being photographed and sent off to a third party. Are you not concerned about how you got some of those votes?
Well, good evening, Nigel, and good evening to your viewers. I mean, we're now 1 week on from the Gorton and Denton by-election landslide, and Reform UK, you know, they are still whinging about the result. And that's what it comes across as, Nigel. It comes across as whinging. And outside of Reform's bubble, to most people, it actually looks like you are sore losers. And that really explains why the Reform candidate, Matt Goodwin, has been trending on Twitter as Matt Bad Loss. And, you know, it wasn't even close, Nigel. It was 4,000 votes. I think it's time to accept the result and move on. Okay, you lost the by-election. You know, you've been in the ascendant seat for many months. You've been ahead in the polls. You've been ahead in the polls for many months. But in this by-election, you lost.
What I say? Well, Democracy Volunteers are predominantly Liberal Democrats. They've put out a very concerning report about openly illegal behaviour in 68% of polling stations. Should that not be looked at? Do we not need reforms to restore trust in voting?
Well, it is being looked at because you've obviously reported it to the police now. So the police are going to spend a lot of their resources and a lot of their time spending time investigating it. So obviously we need to see that investigation play out. You know, the Green Party embrace democracy, and we welcome any contest, a free and fair election, and that's exactly what the Gorton and Denton by-election was. The Green Party had a fantastic local candidate in Hannah Spencer, a working class plumber. And, you know, we have thousands of activists pounding the streets day after day, morning, noon and night. And we won that by-election. So it really is time for reform. a week on to move on.
Right,
Anna's been
well-
sworn into Parliament now. She's a parliamentarian. I think we need to move on, accept the result,
But I'm
and,
not going to move on.
and you know, let's just
No,
let's just.
I am
let's
not
just carry
going to
on.
move on. I think democracy and the integrity of the system matters too much, but I thank you for joining us and putting your point of view.
Click here for
I mean, yeah. I lost. Find me another 4,000 votes. Yeah. Sending photographs. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? That's what I'd like to know. Where is the evidence that this happened? I mean, the name of the, what somebody put it here, Democracy Volunteers. That's something new that didn't exist. And then I've seen people put up things like, oh, we need CCTV in polling stations. Well, that's illegal. Oh, police used to go into polling stations and make sure people didn't cheat. Well, there aren't enough police because the Tories got rid of them. You know, your volunteers who hand out the ballot sheets, they are volunteers. Are they going to get up and tell these people off? No, I wouldn't, because, you know, if anybody does something wrong, you're going to get shouted at, aren't you? That you're going to be berated for it. So, yeah, pure copium from the tax dodging tosser, absolutely. But we should all move on from Brexit. Exactly. You're not allowed to take photos in the polling stations. Exactly, Chrissy. When I went with my mum, oh, this is a good few years ago. This was the year that Jezza ran. It was 2019, wasn't it? So I had to take my mum because she couldn't see. So she had a white stick with her. So going to the polling booth, she should have done postal vote, but my dad was very ill. He was in hospital. And so things just was chaos. So I went and I said, right, this one here is Conservative. This one here is Labour. This one here is whatever. This one here is whatever. This one here is whatever. And she'd already told me that she was going to vote Labour anyway. She's been a Labour voter all her life. So she said to me, which one? And I pointed and I turned my head away. You know, what can you do when a person can't see? So, yeah, she does postal vote now, but obviously it's either me or my sister that has to fill it in for her. But we respect my mum. We would never, ever, you know, cheat on her vote for her. We're not like that. Right, guys, I am going to head off. You've got 10 minutes now to go for your bathroom break. I'll give you all a slip. All got your slip for going down to the toilet. Get yourself a cup of tea and get yourself comfy for Daily Blase's show. If Chris or Elle, if you could pop up Daily Blase's link, that would be awesome. And until we get PR, democracy is just a fallacy on these islands. Absolutely. Definitely need PR. Definitely need proportional representation. 100% agree with that. So I will see you all on Sunday if you would like to pop back. 6 p.m. For the Stuff and Nonsense show, where I talk about a load of shit and some stuff, mostly nonsense, and we have a laugh, but something a bit lighter, hopefully, to start the week with, rather than the bollocks that's going on. But I suppose it depends on what goes off in the world in the meantime, because 2 days at the moment is a long time. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you to everybody in the chat for being so kind and polite to each other. Thank you for all the mods and the work that they've done. Thank you to Chris C for his programmer duties, producer duties. Thank you for the donation. Stephen, I did see your donation. Thank you so much for that. And thank you again to Mad Monk. And just absolutely lovely being here. And I'm sorry I got the time wrong at the beginning. I don't know what I was thinking. Probably wasn't even thinking. But I will see you all on Sunday. Well, I'll see you in the chat on Daily Blase's channel in a little while. So have a wonderful evening. Blessed be, guys. Mwah.